welcome back. And I think the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to run this old U-Haul chassis of the frame. It's got a really nice frame. The cab's boogered up and I don't like the U-Hauls anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and rod our frame out here. All right, now let's go ahead and get that soft mounted. Like so. Now what we want to do is we'll take our wheels, find the center. I think that's going to about do it. Or let's see if it's the same as the, does it line up with the factory holes? Yep. So looks like what we can do here is, that looks like it'll line up with this just as good as it does the other. So we can just come up. So I'm going to put me a mark straight up from my hole and drill my hole up here against the top of the frame. And then once I get the bed mounted, we'll do the same back here. That way I can go ahead and cut all this off down here. So let's get some marks put on there and get that cut. Alright, so I got my old drill board here. Let's come straight up. Right up against the frame. So we do that first because we got to trim this off. So now we've got our hole drilled. And if you drill your hole before you go to cutting these, you can use your factory hole to line your stuff up. Alright, so we got our cab and everything back off. And I realize I'm going to have to bring my holes back just a little bit, but that ain't no problem. I can file them back and then I'll patch the hole and re-drill it once I get it to where I need it to be. I do that a lot. So for now, let's make it roll. Let's see here. So with your pinky and your ring finger, I'm thinking should be able to do it just like that. Put your pinky on your flat surface. It's a good straight surface. If you hold your pen and you put your other finger on this good solid surface and let your pen ride off of your free finger, if I'm explaining that right. Put it up here where you want it and just drag it down that straight surface and you'll get a good pretty straight line. And I'm going to cut at the top of this line. I'm going to follow the top of my line. That should get me, well, it may just come down just a little bit. And then I can follow that right down. Now see, I went ahead and cut this off back here because I don't know where my camper axle is going to fall, so I don't need to use these. I done the front ones because the cabs are very similar and I just wanted to, I can line it up with that and don't have to worry about it. The back I can't. Yeah, got us a nice frame. Alright guys, so we got our cab mounted and our wheels. I'm gonna save the windshield and the grill and everything until we're done. That way I don't scratch them all up. So the next thing we need to do is find out where we need to put our wheels. So what's really cool is if you use the U-Haul frame, you got to kind of trim it off a little bit in the back sometimes. But with this cab, it goes just right. And you get a perfect little gap in between the roof and the back of this. So I think now what we need to do is go ahead and mount the camper to the frame, and then that way we can drill our axle holes and see how much of the floor we need to cut out so we can go ahead and make it a dually. So let's do that. Alright, let's mount our stuff here. So basically, the best way that I have found to do this is to use your holes that are already there. These are factory holes. These are factory holes. So I'm going to try to line my frame and all this stuff up with what's already there from the factory, because I know them are in the middle. So we'll come over here, and I've got about the same amount of hole on each side of my frame. Let's get him straightened up. Now that I've got my part centered up, now I want to make sure I'm getting him straight. So now what I'm going to do is come down here, and I'm going to use this line, and these two to line my back up. So now you can barely see this line, and you can barely see this line. Just a little bit of it. Now we're good to go on the bottom. Now we can put our third hole in. Fingers off the triggers, fella. Lay your thumb on the bit. Now you can got it. I see my rivet is right here at the corner of that hole. So I'm gonna put this one, try to put it in the same spot. Gap here, got a little bit of a gap there, but we'll be okay. At least our roof isn't rubbing. So now we can mount our wheels. Put my wheel up here, center in the hole, come back here. I'm just going to draw me a line on the bottom where my holes could be. Now I'll take that line, on the frame. Now what I'm going to do, I'd like to make this a dually, so my dualies won't fit, so I need to cut some of this out. I need to mark this on this side. Jilson shears. If you can look in there and you see the gap, you can see where the edge of your cut's going to be. And these will look very cumbersome on this build because I'm cutting over this. When you come to this stuff, it'll cut it, but it just acts kind of funny. So. See, now they're very cumbersome because my blade is going inside this groove. So it kind of makes them a little bit difficult to use. So don't get discouraged if you do this. Or use a cutoff wheel. You can use a cutoff wheel. But as you guys know, I don't like cutoff wheels. So I fight it. As you can see, this has got a lot of pitting, a lot of the paint still left on it and stuff. I'm gonna get a lot of that out. We don't paint here at Hunk and Junk, but I can't go with that. Not with that cab looking so good. So let's get this cleaned up. I'm gonna use my floppy disk here on my Nylint and just go to work. What you're going to want to do is pay special attention to the darker spots. That's where the pits are and the bad stuff. So you want to kind of pay special attention to the pit stuff. So I've already hit it with my grinder. Now let's go ahead and clean it up with this. I run this in reverse. I don't know what it is about running it in reverse. It's just a lot easier to hang on to. So. Alright, let's go ahead and put this thing together. Got us a new windshield. Slip that in place. look at that, it's awful pitted and pretty bad off. So I think I'm going to go get some cream colored white paint and paint this and try to cover all that up. So. My camper here primed up real good. It's been sitting for a couple of days and everything, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to sanding it down. I'm gonna start with some 800 grit. This is 3M sandpaper. It's like a foam pad. It works really well. I love this stuff. And then I'll move on up to an 800 grit, so shouldn't take me too long. Really what I want to do is just knock off the rough. It's kind of a rat rod, so it don't need to be perfect like a lot of the builds you see on here. So your first coat, you want to still, this is probably, I put a first coat on it and stood for about 3 or 4 minutes and didn't do anything else, just let it kind of sit. Then I came back with a real light second coat. And you can still see a little bit of the gray under the paint. And that's the second coat. Guys, I suck at painting. I'm the world's worst. But if you take a few precautionary measures when you paint, one thing is whenever you primer, once you're done spraying your primer, let it sit overnight. Don't touch it, don't sand it, don't do anything at all with it. Let it sit till the next day. Then sand it, wash it really, really, really good, and then just put really super thin coats of regular paint on it. And about the time the paint starts to just tack up to where it's almost dry, but not quite, but it's just tacky, hit it with another coat. And just real thin coats, 3 or 4 coats, however many you want to put on it, whatever, I don't know. I suck at painting. I'm just doing this one because the only reason I'm painting this is because it was just too bad to leave bare metal. And I got the top going too, and you can see there's still some scratches and stuff in it, and I may just leave the top like that because it just kind of matches the rest of the truck. So, but I do need to put a few more coats on the camper. I think that's about all I'm going to do with it today. Come back Tuesday and I'll show you how to get the hubcaps and stuff real nice and clean, and we'll also make some windows to go in this thing like we did on the Buddy L topper or Buddy L camper. And we'll wrap this thing on up and get it all looking good. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Hunk and Junk. And make sure you like and subscribe and follow here on YouTube for some more upcoming content. I've got some great stuff in mind for you guys, and we're just getting started. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.